Hello, everyone. So today we are going to take a very important topic, and which is the very basic topic uh, to understand the concepts of JavaScripts. So with this series, I'm planning to have uh, more sessions about basic understanding the fundamental building blocks and the fundamental concepts of JavaScripts. So I have created other videos wherein we have focused on some tricky interview questions which are connected to all major topics in JavaScripts. But now I would like to emphasize on one topic at a time. And with the help of this, I try myself to explain that how exactly that topic is more clear when we try to understand with the real examples, right? So the more practice we do with the real examples, the more understanding we get to know about a particular concept in JavaScript. So today, the topic that we are going to take is hosting. So JavaScript hosting. This is a very important topic and has to be taken very carefully. I see people they understand this, but not aware of the fundamentals. So I'll be taking some questions on this, and then also explain you what hoisting is, and then we'll see some real time examples, real time scenarios. Okay, so let me start straight away with this. Hosting. So hosting is a concept in JavaScript, okay, or you can say it is a mechanism where variables, function declarations, or classes, they are moved to the top of their scope during the compilation phase. This is very important to understand. All these variables, function declarations, or classes, they all are moved to the top of their scope during the compilation time, right? So what does it mean? This means that you can use these before they are declared in the code, right? However, the way variables declared var, let, const, and functions are hosted in a different way. So they have their different way of, I would say, uh, understanding the way they are being hosted. So let me explain you with a real life analogy for hosting. So let's say imagine you're entering a classroom for a lecture, right? The teacher writes the list of topic, for example, functions on the board before teaching them. So teacher is writing the list of topic functions on the board before teaching them. So even though you haven't yet heard the details, you know the topic exists and what they will cover. However, any questions asked about examples not yet explained might result in errors or default values. So, with this real time example, real life analogy for hosting, wherein you enter a classroom for a lecture, teacher writes the list of topic on the board before teaching them, and even though you haven't heard the details about those topics, you know the topic exists, right? But if somebody asks you, for example, variables and all those things in detail, those things might result in errors because you have not actually gone through all this. They have been just declared right on the board. So, with the help of some of the very key concepts compilation, I have compiled some questions. I mean, some very real time examples from 1 to 10. I'm sure once we have all those questions thoroughly discussed, this hosting concept will be very clear to all of you. So let me quickly start without wasting time. Question number one on hosting. So you see here, uh, we have a greet function, right? So functions are hosted with their definitions. So whenever you define a function and you want to try whether this hosting concept is valid or not, so you say functions are hosted with their definitions. So greet can be called before the function declaration. This is a very important topic to understand. So they are being hosted with their definitions. So you see greet is called. So what is the output of this question number one problem? So if I do node hosting q1.js, so you see hello world is the answer. All right, because function definitions are being hosted. Always remember the fact. Okay, this is a very important concept. There is no undefined, there is no error, because this is function, and function they are treated in a different way. These are hosted with their definitions. Okay, all right. Now, when it comes to question number 2, let's go and dig more into this. All right, what we have? Variable x. We have x is hosted and initialized to undefined. All right. Now, the console.log x, what you expect here? The moment you define var x equal to 5, you see the hosting concept, it takes you up to the top, declare and host this x variable, but with an undefined value. So line number 1 will definitely print undefined, right? And the second output, which is at line number 3, should print 5. So let me run this and see how it is gonna work. So undefined in 5, I think this is clear. All right, so let me take question number 3. All right, so this is again a very common example where people get confused. Remember, let const, they work in a different way when it comes to the concept of hoisting. Var works in a different way. All right, so over here we see let is used. Let y is equals to 10. So y is hosted. All right, but it remains in a temporal dead zone until its declaration is reached. Temporal dead zone, this is very important to understand. Okay, so with the let and const, you create something which is called dead zone. So y will be hosted to the top, but it will remain in a temporal dead zone, and because of that, whenever you try to access it, it will give you the reference error. And we can check this. Question number 3, which is here, you see this is a reference error. Let me move to question number 4. All right, so what is this? We have a function hello. All right, now after that we are creating a hello function, and now over here you see the var hal, you used var keyword. Var hal will be hosted, so the var hal declaration is hosted and is initialized to undefined, as it is similar with the var, any var that you create. All right, so the expectation here should be, because you're calling a function, so it should be a type error, right? So let me quickly run this. Question 4. So you see, this is a type error. Hello is not a function. Why? Because var, what it does, it will take hello and host it to the top and mark it as undefined. And when you try to run this hello, it will say, hey, I'm not a function, I'm undefined, right? So this will be a type error by the compilation, during the compilation type. Question number 5. Question number 5 is something where we're dealing with nesting scope. All right. So over here, you see, we have a function test. All right. And then we are calling it line number 6. What is happening? So inside this function test, var a is declared or defined at line number 3. So var a is hosted and initialized to undefined. All right. The first console.log a, it should output to undefined, then second should print to 10. So the output of this is similar to what we have already done. It's just the difference that we have function here. Okay, so hosting in nested scopes. So we have a global scope which is outside the function, and then this is a nested, like, inner scope of the test function. So the scope matters. All right, so the output of this question should also be undefined and 10. So this is question number 5, and here we go. All right, let's move to question number 6. Question number 6, we are talking about this time const, and this is same as it was with let. All right, so create a temporal dead zone. So the moment you try to access g, it will give you the reference error, because const is hosted but cannot be accessed before its declaration. That is very important to understand. Similarly, const let also works the same way. All right, so let me run quickly this question number 6. You see here, it's a reference error. Let's go and question number 7. So question number 7, which is functions versus variable hosting. So you see here, we have var greet equals to hello, and then we have one more function with the name greet. And now what we are trying to do, we're trying to find out type of greet. So let's go step by step. Function declaration are hosted before variables. That is very important. So function declarations, they are declared before variables. This is very important and a very key element to understand. Before variables, so both var greet and function, they both will be hosted in JavaScript, but functions will get the higher preference, so they will be hosted before variables. Now var greet, when it will be hosted after that, it will overwrite the function after hosting. Okay, so what will happen when you overwrite? I mean, greet will be hosted first, and then var greet, this variable will come to next, and it will override it. So the output of type of greet should be string, which will be the overwritten value for this var greet. So let me run this. Question number 7, and I'm expecting a string, which is the right answer. Question number 8. So from that, the previous question, you get to know the functions are hosted always, before variables. Now, very good question. There we you see here class. Also, class hosting also is a very important concept. Do not get confused that okay, we have hosting works only with var, let, and const. No, it's not like that. Hosting works with variables, functions, classes, and many more. Okay, so let me quickly check this. We have uh, over here we have a class. When it comes to classes, classes are hosted, but again they work similar to let and const. They are remain in a temporal dead zone, meaning you cannot access them. All right, so you see class object equals to new my class. It should definitely throw a reference error because you're trying to create an object of class which never existed before. All right, it will be hosted, but you cannot access it because it's in temporal dead zone. Temporal dead zone is a concept where you cannot access anything, though it has been hosted, but you cannot access. Classes, let, const, they all work in the same fashion. Let me run quickly question number 8. Here we go, it is a reference error. Question number 9. All right, this is a very interesting topic. We are talking about two concepts here, hosting and event loop. Okay, let me discuss this in a very one step by step. So where I is hosted and shared across all iteration, isn't it? Yes, it will be shared across all iterations of this for loop. The set timeout callback refers to the same I which becomes 3 after the loop. All right, so what does it mean? It simply means that when we say set timeout callback, it is referring to the same I, okay, which becomes 3 after the loop, because set timeout, this is a event loop. It goes into the event loop. So the moment this var will be executed, the value of I will be 3, and after that it will pick the 3 value, and then it should print 333. Isn't it very interesting? Yes, it is very interesting. So where I is hosted on the very top, set timeout will go into a cube with the concept of event loop. We'll be taking that event loop in a different session, but yeah, event loop is a concept where it will put this for the task queue to be taken from the event loop. And now after this for loop is all done, I value will be 3, and then the event loop will kick this set timeout or the whatever block you want to execute into the real queue to execute, and then console.log should print 3 times the final I value, which is 3. Let me quickly run this question number 9. So you see, after 1,000 milliseconds, it prints 3 3. Okay, next. All right, question number 11, question number 10, which is here. Same question. This time, what we are doing, we are using let. So what will happen? Each iteration, new instance of I due to the block scoping. Okay, with let always works in the block scoping. So over here, set timeout callback refers to the correct I for each iteration. So it should print 0 1 2. Let me run it. Here we go. So this is 0 1 and 2. So That's pretty much all when it comes to real-time examples of hosting. I believe that when you watch these real-time questions, real-time code walkthrough questions, you will get more understanding of hosting, how functions are hosted, how let const classes are hosted, how var is hosted, which way they are gonna work, what is temporal dead zone, and all that. So let me finalize, or let me summarize all this. Function declaration are fully hosted, meaning you can use them before they are declared. Remember, function declarations are fully hosted. You can use them before they are declared. Variable declared with var are hosted but initialized to undefined. Very important. Variable declared with let const are hosted but they remain in a temporal dead zone. So as for the classes, function expressions and classes are not fully hosted. Their declarations are hosted but the definitions are not. So I hope that was more beneficial for those who want to understand hosting concept in much uh, deeper way. Thank you for your time for watching the video. I see you in the video.